'Tis I. Hey everyone, glad to see you back, glad to see you looking fresh. Mortal Kombat is the latest in the line of video game movies trying to break out of this crappy mold of video game movies which we've been in forever. While Mortal Kombat has had a history of film before, and obviously, like, the games themselves have had movie influences, the film itself struggles a little bit to find its own footing. Even looking back to the original Mortal Kombat film from the 90s, even though that film was really cheesy, some of the effects haven't aged quite well, it's still quite fun to go back and look at, and even is still considered one of the best video game films of all time. Its sequel, I wouldn't, I wouldn't try it. You can look at some of it as, like, just a product of its time, but really that film is utter garbage, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, especially fans of Mortal Kombat. It's not even good in a bad way, it's bad in a bad way. It's horrible. But that's besides the point, we're on to the new one now. An interesting thing about the new one is filled with characters that are of Mortal Kombat lore, obviously, but the main character isn't of established Mortal Kombat lore. His name is Cole, and he's alright. He's not a bad character to bring us through this journey, but honestly, I don't get why they didn't pick someone else to use in this role. I get the idea of, like, we need an audience surrogate to act on our behalf of introducing us into the world of Mortal Kombat and how crazy and weird it is. But there have been characters like that already established in the lore of Mortal Kombat that could have worked a lot better, such as Johnny Cage, which is one of my favorite characters, and he's not even in this movie. I don't think that's a spoiler because, like, you can look up the cast list and he's not there. So he's been known to done it before. He's like the one who did it in the 90s film. So I don't know why they couldn't have used him here. Sonya Blade was a good one to use it for. Jax is another one to pretty good use it for. They're in this. They're not bad in this. None of the characters are, like, particularly horrible. I think some of them aren't as good as they could be. Like, Kung Lao is alright. Raiden's okay. He's not used that well, and some of the villains are good though. Like, Kano is probably the best part about this movie, which is crazy because I hate Kano. In the games, you're supposed to hate Kano, but he's not really a guy like I love to hate. I just don't like him that much. He's really good in this though. I really liked him a lot. Scorpion and Sub-Zero are also fantastic in this. First 10 minutes are all about Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and might be the best part about the movie, to be honest with you. It's shot pretty well. The action, I'll get into this now, I guess. The action in this film bounces from either really fantastic to really dull. And I'm not dull in like a, wow, I'm bored kind of sense. Dull in like a, this has no weight, or this doesn't feel like a actual fight. This feels like a choreographed thing. Characters will punch each other and there's no blood, which is weird. It's rated R, and there'll be, like, no blood during the fist fights. But then, like, when there is the fatalities, which are really cool, there are a lot of iconic ones that you would recognize if you're a fan of the video games. But if not, be prepared for some crazy gruesomeness all of a sudden. But, like, if you know nothing about Mortal Kombat, I don't know why you'd be watching this anyway. But, like, if you know about Mortal Kombat, you would expect that kind of thing, because that's, like, its claim to fame. You know, it's obscene goriness. And that's what makes it kind of fun, is how outlandishly gory it can be. And the movie relishes that and from time to time, but during the fights itself, it rarely gets to a point of, like, ooh, that looked like it hurt. Like I said, the fatalities are excellent, though, when they do happen. I don't know, it's a weird package, this whole thing, because, like I said, with the character problem is that, like, Cole isn't a bad guy to have, but, like, why is he here? Why didn't we have any of the other dozens of Mortal Kombat characters that are more interesting? Instead, we got Cole. I think it'd be cool if in Mortal Kombat 12 he showed up and he became a part of the whole shebang. To have him here now is strange. But like I said, there are some characters that are good. Some characters that are underused. Sonya and Liu Kang are, like, the best in this. Liu Kang is stripped down a lot. Kung Lao he's pretty good. He's got some good stuff, but again, he's kind of underused. Scorpion, I don't think is in it enough. Sub-Zero's in it a good bit. I like Sub-Zero in this a lot. Kanan, I said, is really good. Raiden's not in it as much as he probably could be, and even when he is, he's not the best. The film suffers a little bit with some logic with Raiden. Overall, it's pretty good with it. The music is another thing that I want to touch on. When you think of Mortal Kombat, you think of the iconic theme, and you think of that techno beats and everything. This film really savors its music, and it teases the themes a lot throughout the movie, but I do think if you're a fan of that theme, you will be happy with what they do with it. The campiness of this movie is also partially where this thing shines, is because when it embraces what it is, and then a character will say fatality, flawless victory, or blank wins. It's really fun. This movie is fun. It suffers from a lot of problems. It suffers from weird pacing issues. And my biggest thing about this is that the film feels like it's just setting up a sequel. That's why the only thing exists, because like the titular Mortal Kombat tournament doesn't even happen in this. There is no actual tournament. It feels like it's just setting up for the second one, but I do feel like if there is a second one, it could be absolutely spectacular. As is for this one though, I would give it a soft score of a 6 out of 10. You know, good, just on the cusp of goodness, as opposed to a little over mediocrity. It's fun if you're a fan. If you're not a fan, I don't think there's much here for you, but check it out. It's on HBO Max now. As always, if you like this, make sure you like this, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you at some point.